Hi, I'm Carol Schumann, and I'm here with our mayor, Brandon Weiberg. And we just wanted to just spend a few minutes kind of talking about like what the year has been like for you, Brandon. If you have any greetings that you want to give the residents of Taylor's Falls or anything. I just was thinking, a year ago, where you were at. You were elected. You were going to take office in a few weeks. I know you were reading through Robert's Rule of Orders fervently, trying to understand and learn how to lead meetings. And I mean, now you're in a completely different place. So do you just want to share with us a little bit about how the year has gone for you and what your reflections on the year have been?
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Carol, and happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you and the entire city of Taylor's Falls. You're right. In 12 months, 11 months, we've really came a long ways.
Yeah.
Reading Robert's Rule of Order, I was doing it months before I took over just to kind of have some idea. I knew how to run a meeting, but I wanted to make sure I was doing it correctly because there are a lot of rules that you have to watch for. And a lot of that you really push over to our city clerk and hope that they know what we're supposed to say and what we're not supposed to say or do or what we're supposed to do. And so I knew that going in, but I wanted to make sure that as a team we were functioning as well as we could be. One thing the past mayor did is he did run a very smooth, well-spoken meeting, and I think the residents of Taylor's Falls deserve something like that. So that's what I was really trying to get a grasp of, and I think we did that. We've had a lot of ups and downs, just like any other council, but I think with our cohesive coming together in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 months, I feel like that's setting up 2024 to be wonderful.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, I could say that I saw you kind of grow into the role. At first it was a little like, oh, I don't know exactly how to do this, but I see a lot of confidence and a lot of comfort in how you're leading the meetings now. So I can see a lot of positive things there.
It's a work in progress.
It always is a work in progress, isn't it? So what do you think was one of the most unusual things you learned about city council, the workings of city council, and the workings of a city?
Sure, great question. Well, going into this, I didn't know we would be doing as much hiring as we did, obviously. So I've learned really quick what things we were looking for when we were hiring for our new people, to make sure that the city was running smooth, because we as a council are ones that keep an eye on everything, make sure everybody's held to an accountability, a higher standard, but we also need to work as a team, and it shouldn't be whatever I say goes. And that's one thing that I saw right away, and I wanted to change it because all 5 of us up there have a voice for other people. I look at it as I should have a voice for everybody, and I think by putting the right people in where they are, that's going to be making us allowed to do that, and not just whatever I say goes.
Right.
And that's one thing that I really saw right away. It was like, oh, well, no, what Brandon says doesn't go. What the 5 of us come together and we feel that is the best for the public is what goes.
And that's so true, because we elected 5 people. We didn't just elect one person as a mayor, but we elected a group, that represent us. And I mean, is there anything that you can kind of help residents to kind of understand? Like, I feel like, people probably or may think, well, I have to talk to Brandon about this, but you're not the only one, that needs to hear from the residents.
Sure. No, I mean, I'll take a phone call, email. I prefer phone call. Anytime. And setting up meetings with our residents have been wonderful. I'll listen to anybody at any time, but I also want that person to feel comfortable going to the other
Mm-hmm.
council members to make sure that they tell them their feelings. Because when you tell me something, I can only technically tell one other person on council your concerns or your thoughts or something that you might want to see done, and then it's we can't talk about it anymore unless we put it on the agenda. So I would say reach out to everybody. I would rather you make a phone call and set up a meeting with all of us individually and talk than an email. But we will put the emails in the packet moving forward. As we discussed as a council, we feel that's the best, unless we're asked not to by that individual. But I think that's how we get everybody on board, and everybody kind of knows what's going on. It's not just me and one other person. If you reach out to everybody, hopefully they all call you back. And then, if it's something that you want to be on the agenda, you have to ask us that too. So that's another thing that a lot of people don't know.
Right.
If they
Who
want
do
to
we
talk
ask?
to us,
Uh-huh.
any council person.
Okay.
Yeah. So you reach out to any of us and say, hey, I'd really like to talk to you more and get your feedback on said topic. Can you put me on your next agenda? And then we can actually have a conversation with you as a group. Whereas if you just come in and talk to us at an open forum, we're not supposed to respond. We're supposed to take note, and then it just moves on from there. So if there's something serious or something that you really want to discuss with us and you want feedback or you want a good dialogue between us, just definitely reach out to any of us. We have to put it on the agenda.
Do you want to explain just a little bit about the open meeting law? I know that's what you were just talking about,
Yep.
but why don't you explain?
So I know there's 3 of us that for sure went to the League of Minnesota Cities training this last year, and that was a huge topic, and they spent about 2 or 3 hours on just the open meeting law with their attorneys kind of telling us what we can do, what situations to avoid, and it's good to have Fritz because he knows that law. He is so good on that, and he keeps us in check. He'll stop us if he feels like we might be flirting with doing that. But as far as it goes, is if there's 2 of us, we can talk. That's it. Only 2 council people, mayor and another council person, can speak about an issue when we're not at a meeting. And so after that, it has to stop. I can't go then to the next council person and say, I talked to this council person about this. We just need to put it on the agenda if we feel like all 5 of us need to speak about it, and then we avoid that. There's some other things out there. Some people might think, well, we're in a small town, and if we're all up having hamburgers at the Goat or at Romaine's, which very possibly can happen. I've been up and eating out, and 2 other council members have been in the vicinity. I saw them on the street and waved and said hi, but that's okay. It's chance meeting is what they call it, and as long as we're not sitting all together discussing business, which I don't believe any of us ever want to do when we're out enjoying our family time, that's okay. But it's just when we're discussing city business, we can still be friends outside and do stuff together. We can go to cleanup day, and that's fine. We just can't discuss city business. It wouldn't look good if the 3 of us were cutting trees down together and discussing what we should do.
Yeah.
And what the city needs to do. We can't do that. So that's why we kind of divide and conquer when we come to public events like that. We don't stand next to each other.
And you can really see the wisdom in that, where I've been at so many meetings where nothing is being discussed. And it gives me the sense that it's already been discussed and decided on before there's been any public input or that either other council members have even heard about it. So I see the wisdom in that, and I appreciate that that's what you're taking as taking the high road.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's the better for the community.
It is, definitely it is. So I guess we should put council members on notice that you may be hearing from public more often.
And we did change, Larry's phone number was wrong on the website, so we got that updated.
Yeah.
So one of the other past council members' number is still listed in there, so they were trying to convey each other, and so we got that all taken care of. So if you reach out to any of us, it's all online.
And it's all accurate.
It's all accurate.
Good. Which that's another very positive thing for the city, the website, and just what we can do on the website now that wasn't available before. So
Absolutely. That I think is a huge accomplishment that we did really quickly as a group. We saw a need and we fixed what needed to be fixed. It's updated. The real neat thing is the trainings that we're providing our internal staff, they're going to start being able to do more and more. And they're already, even our new city clerk, Sherry, she's already making edits on the website. And Becky Kennedy is, providing that training. And she's still the back support and she's still making sure everything runs well. But she's, open to showing our team how to do that. So they can update that, they can load the minutes, we can change, we can, for instance, 2 weeks ago, we had to shut the water off. And I was up there when it got shut off, and it wasn't we weren't planning on having the water shut off, but they called and said, hey, for about 2 or 3 hours, we're gonna have to shut the water off. They were cleaning valves, check valves out, I believe, is what Kevin said. And so they called, and right away they put it on the website. So for anybody watching this, if something happens, we're doing our best to get it up on the website right away, to alleviate the phone calls to the office, because they're really busy doing everything else, but they'll always take your calls. It's not that they don't want to speak to you, but it's just another really good reference point that you can go to for anything going on, and hopefully that grows.
Right, and it just expedites communication.
Absolutely.
Which, I've always said that Taylor's Falls is unique because we don't have a newspaper that's just Taylor's Falls. We don't even have a grocery store where community residents see each other, talk about, hey, did you hear what went on down there? I mean, we don't have any of that. So our communication has to be very intentional, and I see the website as being something that accomplishes that really well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, any updates? How has this been on your family? You don't have to answer it if you don't.
Well, in a few of the meetings, I've made it clear that I try to keep my wife and kids out of this, because some topics and they don't need to be a part of. They know what my wife knows what's going on to a point, but I don't want her to take. She shouldn't have to deal with it. We should be family time when we're together, and then when I'm up at City Hall, it's city time. So I've done I think the best job I can. And she's a resident, so she has right to know everything that's going on, but that's for her to go and find. It's not for us to have conversations behind closed doors. I don't believe that should ever happen with any of the council people. If somebody asks how's it going or what are you working on, that you can talk about and move right on. But to get deep into it, I don't believe we, even with our spouses, should be telling anything that might be going on behind the scenes or what we're planning for the meeting, or because if somebody bumps into somebody and they say something and then it goes down this road, it could just spiral out of control, and it's like the telephone game. and it's probably not what you said. So I see that happen a little, but I think they're doing good. My children like to go to school and let everybody know that I'm the mayor, and I'm flattered that they hold that position, in high regard, because it's a very honorable position, and I'm thankful to be in it.
And I think too that, probably in a very informal way, they are learning about city government, in a way that, like, I never knew the workings of city government until recently. And so it's a huge opportunity that they have.
Oh, definitely. I'm learning every day.
Right. And I remember having a conversation with Jolene, just talking about how it really takes a lot of work and volunteers to put on, like we were talking specifically about the lighting festival, and I asked her if she could help with a project, and she and the kids helped. And we were just talking about how important that is, that lesson of the kids learning that you just don't go to something and it just happened. There's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes to make it run smoothly. And so that's a very valuable thing that, the kids are picking up on, whether they know it or not.
Yeah, no, I agree. It really, they need to learn the value of volunteering for their community that they're in. I think
the
that
involvement,
builds their character, and that's how we're gonna refill positions when I'm done, whenever that would be, and then the rest of the council, we need to have more volunteers and they can work
Mhm.
and see the intricacies and get excited about it, and then we can move on and somebody else can bring their ideas in, and that's the
Right.
whole name of the game.
Right.
You know, building the pipeline, so to say,
Mhm.
is very important for the
Mhm.
future.
And I think for them, it gives them a sense of pride. Like, I had a part in that. You know, I contributed. This wasn't just, you know, I had a part in it. And I think that that's a really valuable thing that they kind of learn too.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So, is there anything else that you want to talk about now, or?
You know, as far as future goes, I mean, 2024 is coming really quick. We're going
Yeah.
to have our organizational meeting on I think it's the 8th. And so that one will go a lot smoother than our first one when we really all didn't know what we were doing, but that was fine. You know, those bumps are what really make this team unique. We've struggled, but we've gotten through it. So I think we're on the right track. We have a lot of things coming down that we're going to try to focus on. We've had a lot of hurdles, but we have the team members that are alleviating necessarily the council that have to jump on and take care of on our own. And so, like last year with all the snow, Councilman Grote ended up out snow plowing, you know, and throwing salt, you know, and all hands on deck when we need to be, and that is awesome. And we've done a great job hiring Kevin, where you know, he's putting pieces in place so that they can have time off. We have a backup if we get really a ton of snow. You know, stuff like that. So he's really done a good job. I think we get the pieces in place that are going to allow us to do some really exciting things. Wanigan Days is going to be really exciting. We did vote as a council to bring in a lumberjack team, and so that Saturday on Wanigan Days, we will be having the lumberjack group come in, and I met them. They're really cool. It's going to be really fun. It's a family-owned experience, so people get to learn and see and have fun, and so, you know, hopefully everybody comes down and enjoys it, and we'll go from there. And then you know, hopefully we can concentrate on a lot of the street projects. I know we had to ignore some of the streets that need repair due to some sewer issues and other areas of town.
Sure.
So I think we're set up to be able to deal with that. We fixed a lot. We still have a lot more to fix. You know, I know a lot of people are concerned about the taxes and the budget going up. It wasn't an easy decision for any of us to make. I can't imagine how everybody felt when it was the first letter from the county came out. We all received plenty of phone calls voicing concern. The office was busy fielding calls, and that's good. That just means people are paying attention. It wasn't our intent to overload the funds and go spend money that we don't need to spend. We need to get the fund balances up to a par level. We learned that they weren't when we went through the audit last year, and so these are the pieces that we have to, they're painful, but we have to put in place to reach that goal. It's not going to happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, but you know, we're going to get that back in the next couple of years. It'll be looking really good, and then we can afford to, you know, even expand, and hopefully we can lower the taxes back down when we get those fund balances.
Sure.
You know, I know a lot of times people think, well, as soon as the taxes go up, they'll never lower it. Well, that's not the case. I don't believe anybody wants that here. So, you know, that's our goal. At least my goal would be to lower them again, and after we get the baseline set.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I said a lot there, but you know, I just kind of keep on.
Right.
You know, we did our best. And
Right,
we all live
right.
here in town.
And
so,
the other thing that we all know is that costs are going up. So what you could do for $1, you know, several years ago, you can't do it for $1 anymore. So that's a big factor that, and I know especially, you know, the things that the city needs to purchase, the price has gone up like a lot. Equipment,
Yeah.
you know, repairs, things like that, so.
absolutely. And you know, there's equipment that is needed that we don't have a long time to figure out how we're going to get it. So I know at our last meeting, I spoke about the fire department needing a new fire truck here, and we need to sign some type of contract or find a fire truck by the, you know, November, December of this coming year, because it's coming on 25 years of our old truck. So that's something that we're going to be working on really hard. There's options out there, and you know, I'm assuming it's terrible to assume, but I feel our team is pretty good that, you know, our liaison that works with Jake at the fire department, they're gonna be looking at different grants to bring to council and different ways of fundraising to help them
Mm-hmm.
get a little closer to that level that we need. If we
Yeah.
did buy brand new, it was I don't have the papers, it was about $850,000 for a brand new built truck, the way they want it. So,
Right. Wow.
you know, three years of saving $70,000 a year, it's not going to get us there yet, but it's all going to come together.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then, you know, this public works needs a truck. Eventually we need to get a different plow truck, a smaller one that's 4-wheel drive, because we don't have a 4-wheel drive truck for them. And so, you know, stuff like that. And the good thing is everybody in our group, they're willing to work with what they have, and they're keeping an eye out on cost saving measures,
Mm-hmm.
possibly getting a used vehicle for the public works. You know, they're all open to it, and they're always looking at different websites that the state has
Yeah.
for auctions.
Right.
And so,
right.
you know, we're always looking, and even the
Mhm.
office staff is watching, because we need new desks, and we'd like to do ergonomical desks for our team. You know, and there's a lot of that stuff that's in the background that people don't get to see. But you know, we're trying to save money by buying used or going to auction.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Well, that's a good point, because I assume that most of the furniture in the building was purchased when the building was built, and that was what, 2000?
yeah, we're
So like 23 years ago. So
Yep.
23 years of use is. I think we got our money's worth.
most definitely.
I know another thing that is a huge project, and we're so thankful for Elizabeth working on it, but is the municipal code. Just being able to update that so it's accessible to people. Any comments on that?
You know, in our last package, she had a wonderful letter she wrote to the citizens.
Yeah.
We are really lucky to have Elizabeth. We're lucky to have all three run in our office, and then our public works team is phenomenal. But Elizabeth has really taken everything and really ran with it. She's working with Bolton Mink. We did approve that for her to put everything back together with all the amendments that have happened over the years and stuff. It just wasn't all in one location.
Yeah.
So they are. They're currently working on it right now, and I know they've had meetings the last month and a half, two meetings, where they're putting them all together. So I'm hoping within the next couple months they'll have everything together, and then we'll put that, as soon as we have it all together correctly, we'll put that on the website.
Yeah.
And then our planning commission is already starting to look at some of the old ordinances that we do have, and updating and creating new ones. So they're already taking some of the stuff that Elizabeth says these are main ones that we need to focus on. She's really driving that team and directing them. They have a lot of work, you know, to do. And we've had deadlines, and she's the one that's setting the deadlines. So she's really doing a great job. So I hope, hang tight. I mean, it'll be coming. Hopefully, I would guess by, you know, February, March, but she hasn't told me a date. But that's my guess.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, and I think another thing that's very positive is that the city is now taping the meetings, and honestly, I haven't checked recently. I know there was a delay. Is it better, or is it still kind of a challenge?
It's still a challenge, and it's a technology issue challenge that we're having. Our internet speed needs to be cranked up at City Hall, and we're working with Midco to get that done. That's another one of those things where we just aren't getting phone calls back quick enough to get it done, so we're on that. But we need to boost our speed, because right now, after a meeting, unless it's a shorter one, the last couple have been a lot shorter, but if we're talking a 2-hour or 3-hour meeting like we've had in the past, it takes a good 26 to 28 hours for it to upload.
Oh, wow.
And what they're running into is they hook it up to the laptops or the computer that we have at work, and they leave, and then they come in and it hit an error, and so then you start all the way over.
Oh.
And so Michelle was trying to do it using the speed and a different laptop at her house, and it wasn't working there either because they have a different internet than we do. So we're trying to keep everything, you know, and updated as we can. But that's, you know, we're going to have to, coming soon, purchase a few new laptops, get the internet running a little faster, maybe even get a desktop instead of a laptop that's a little more high end. But you know, that's stuff that we'll battle when we need to. We're holding the pieces together right now and hoping that just the internet increase will help us get them. But I know the last couple of meetings she's tried to do right. She leaves council chambers with it, and they put it on the computer and they try to load it within the next 24 to 40 hours. Our goal is to have that meeting up in 24 hours.
Okay.
We did learn that we can get some stuff for our current camera that we're using to where we could stream live, but there's a cost to that, so we're working on that, and we don't want to stream live until we get the internet up to speed because it would just be glitching the whole way through.
Oh,
but if
that's
we do
painful.
live, then it's already taped. It's saved on our website, and then you know, people could watch live, or they could just watch it when replay when they want to. So.
Right.
And speaking with that, we did spend money on equipment. So I know we've had some calls, and we've had an email asking why we're not using our new microphone system, you know, PA system that we have, and the camera. We did have somebody come out, Councilman Lee and I. We were going to try to do it ourselves, and we got into it, and there's just no way we can do it properly and hook everything up and have it running the correct way. We bit off more than we could chew. So I did work with Midcom or Midco, and they sent a guy out that just took a look at it, no cost, and he's going to give us a breakdown of what it would cost for them to come in and hook everything up, so we can start using our new equipment. As soon as we do that, it'll be right online right away.
So is that where I've heard that we have like a designated government station through Midco?
Yep.
And so is that how it would be streamed?
Part. So Midco will come in and they'll hook up their end of it. As soon as we get the camera and everything installed, they'll have a box, and so that receiver will send it right to the cable channel, and then we pick a replay time, and so anybody that has cable will be able to watch it then, and then it's up to us to hook it up and do it to the YouTube channel. So one thing we found out is we talked to the league, and because we've had some pushback on the videos not getting loaded, and you know, some of the office staff was getting a little frustrated with comments, and so we talked to the league, and we were told that technically you do not need to we don't need to stream anything. It's a service that we're gladly to do, and I want them to keep on doing it. We're not going to stop doing it, but it's just something to think about. They have a ton going on, and to field calls about a YouTube channel not working properly, it'll get there. We've made a lot of progress.
You have. Yeah.
I feel like we should be going faster too sometimes, but you know, the good thing about the team in the office is they tell me to slow down. They hold me in check, so but we're gonna get there, and so hopefully, you know, January, February we'll have the equipment installed, and we'll go from there.
You know, I assume it's kind of like a remodel, you know, where you start on one project and then like, oh, that has to be taken care of, oh, that has to be taken care of, and so you just keep running into things that you think like, okay, I'm just gonna fix this, but there's all of these other things that need to be taken care of. So
exactly.
So you're just asking that we as residents have patience and
call us, call the council people, and share your frustrations still, you know, and just know that a lot of the stuff we know is going on, but we can only move so quick. With that, technology slows us down sometimes.
Yeah, it's a great thing, but it's also can be very frustrating too. Yeah. So I know we would kind of like to introduce the office staff, so we'll do another podcast and just take the opportunity to introduce the office staff and hear from them, and if there's anything else, and even, you know, if there are questions that residents have and they would like, you know, to have those questions answered on a podcast, we're very, very open to, you know, having you contact us, and we'd love to answer those questions too.
Absolutely. I'd have to check with Fritz just to make sure I can answer all the questions, but I'm sure we'd be okay.
Oh, yeah.
But I would love that, and I think it would be great to meet the team. You know, we'll have everybody come in and introduce, and we'll go from there. I would love that.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, Brandon. Thank you for taking this time, and thank you for being our mayor.
Oh, well, thank you, Carol, and everybody have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too.